my name's Tessa and I'm a short course trainer at the National Institute of Circus Arts. So some of the classes that I normally teach are aerial preparation and aerial hoop. And today we're going to be focusing on a simple set of exercises that can help increase tumbling strength right from the comfort of your own home. So, ranging from ankle stability to wrist strength are things that we're going to be covering. Before we start, let's make sure that the space we're working in is safe. So you want 3 meters approximately by 3 meters, and you want to make sure you're not too close to the windows or the telly. So you'll need a mat, a water bottle, and a sturdy chair. We're going to start with a quick warm-up and then move on to our exercises. Let's get started. Okay, so let's start off with a jog. So pushing through your toes, warming up your ankles, warming up your toes. See it? Oh, gotta find a less squeaky spot. Okay, and nice high knees. See it? And kicking your bottom. So because we're doing tumbling things, you want to really make sure that your ankles, your knees and your lower limbs are quite warm, especially your feet. So you might want to be pushing, so I'll stand sideways, pushing through your toes, because we're going to be using all of those sorts of muscles. And then you also want to warm up wrists, shoulders, back, neck, basically the whole body. But people often forget their feet to warm up, and it's really important to include that as well. Okay, and rolling out your ankles. Okay, and sumo squat. Let's warm up. Ooh, try and balance. Let's warm up those glutes. So just little pulses. Ideally, you go nice and deep. Okay. We don't need to do a massive warm-up because we're not doing a huge workout. I'm just going to take you through some of the exercises which are good to do, which you can incorporate into your own workouts. Okay. And swing your foot around, warming up your knee and the other way. And the other side. Okay, and the other way. Okay, and now wrists. So I'm just going to start straight off the bat. Wrist push-ups, very important in tumbling. They really, really, really help your strength. You've got so many different little bones in your hands and wrists that can move around and give you pain. So it's really important to warm these up properly. So, hands down, make sure, well, it depends how much weight you want in your wrists. You don't want that much weight, especially to start off with. So the less weight you have, the closer your knees are to your wrists. If you want more weight in, bring your knees further out. You could go onto your toes, but that's like superhuman strength. So, especially to start off with, my knees are nice and close. You're going to push all the way up to your fingers. You can just do halfway like that, but I like going all the way up to my fingertips to make sure I'm warming up those muscles as well. These ones are excellent for wrist strength, especially if you do handstands and things. These ones are really, really good. So you probably want to do about 10 of those. Okay, and these ones you could do each morning or something, or each day, and it would really improve your wrist strength. And then we do 10 outside. Okay, we won't do the full 10 now, but we'll just do roughly a few. And then, this one you really don't have much weight in. See, I'm bringing my knees all the way in, you fold your wrist over, and come up. It doesn't feel like much. It's not, it's more mobility, so more just moving your wrists through that motion. But I feel like I can lift my hands off, I've got so little weight in there. You've got to be really gentle with your wrists, okay? Then let's roll them out. Cool. Okay, so I'm going to take you through 4 different areas that I will be, like 4 different body areas that we're targeting. So the first one is wrist and core. So this we'll be doing a front support on the chair, that's what the chair's for, and it will help strengthen wrists and your core, both of which you need to be able to hold really nice and tight, and to strengthen them when you're doing tumbling. The next one is ankle stability. So this is to try and prevent ankle rolling and injuring those, and just generally strengthen them up, because obviously when you're hurdling and things like that, you really need to have strong ankles, especially when you're landing. So that will help strengthen up those ankles. Then we're going on to calf strength, so that will help when you jump. So it'll just make your movements more explosive, you just got more power. And it's a really common area to not be that strong in, and you don't realise it until you start doing all your calf raises and then you're like, oh, actually, not so strong there. And then lastly, we're doing core and control. So obviously you need to be able to hold your tumbling positions really with lots of control, because otherwise if you're a floppy noodle, you're not going to land properly, you'll probably fall, you'll probably injure yourself, and it just doesn't look that great. So these are all things that will help your tumbling skills. Firstly, wrist and core strength. So because I have to be in camera view, hopefully I stay in camera view. I'm going to put it up here and hopefully we get the gist. I'll do the best I can, but I'll explain how to do it properly. So, feet on. You're going to try to stick your bottom up in the air. You can either have your toes curled over or feet under like that. The further in you are, the harder it is. So if you want it a bit easier, come a bit further out. Okay? So straighten your knees, point your toes, and then what you're going to do is you're going to walk around the chair. I mean, if you have a block is great because then you can walk all the way around. But you might need to build up to this. Maybe your wrists are already a bit sore. But you build up, and then, oh, I don't quite fit. Oh, here we go. And then you can go all the way around again, depending on how you're feeling. Now, you could also just hold it there. Gives you really good strength in your shoulders, wrists, and core. Okay? So that really helps with handstands as well. And just generally with those wrists. You also, you want to make sure that you do roll out your wrists afterwards. And you can do this in, like, build up to it, because it's quite difficult to move. Yeah, so remember, you can always, to start off with, maybe you just put your feet up there, put your hands down, and you just hold it for 10 seconds and come down. And maybe that's enough for you. But if you feel great, then you can do the walking around and walking around back. And if that feels really good, do that a few times. Yeah, and remember, the further in your hands are, the higher up your bottom is, the harder it is. You want to really squeeze your core, push away from the ground. So you don't want to just sink into the ground like that, you want to push away like that. It's better for your shoulders. Get more control as well. Okay, next one, ankle stability. So, depends how difficult you want this move to be, okay? So, if you want it, if you've already got kind of weaker ankles, then you can do it on the ground. And what you can do is you're going to point your foot out, and then you're going to turn left and right. See how my foot's not on the ground, it's just out and pointed to the side. And you rotate your head, and it should be quite a bit of balance on my left foot. Yeah. And then you can do that with the other side. Bring your foot out, make sure knees are straight pointed, toes, and turning. Probably want to rotate maybe 10 times. Okay, but if you wanted something a bit more difficult, you can either have a towel or a pillow, pop your foot up on that, and it will instantly make it more difficult. So you can roll up a towel, so it's like a balance beam, or you can have a pillow, anything unstable, and rotating your head. maybe 10 times each side. But that one's really good for ankle strength, yeah, and stability. So it will just help decrease the chance of you rolling an ankle. Another thing which is great, especially for warm-ups, is just hopping and hopping in all different directions. So you hop, so maybe you'll go one way, then you go the other way, and then back. And your ankle has to stabilize every time you hop in a different direction. You can also do hopping from one foot to another. That's a little bit easier. And you just go all different directions, back, forwards, and it's a really great tumbling warm-up because your ankle has to try and catch you and stabilize you. Okay? If you wanted that to be more difficult, again, get a softer surface, so maybe you're doing it on the beach or something like that. That would make it extra challenging. Next one is calf strength. So calf raises are really, really great for strength. However, they are also very, very easy to cheat. So, grab your chair. When you do a calf raise, you want to make sure that you're going straight up. So you don't want to be going forward because your hips can cheat it, and just if you bring your hips forward, that's cheating. And if you arch backwards, that's cheating. So you want to make sure straight body and you go straight up. When you're also doing it, you want to think about pushing from your big toe. So you don't want to roll your ankles out or roll your ankles in. You want to try and push directly up through that big toe. Okay, so you go all out. You can use the chair for balance and come straight back down. Okay. So what I think is really good to do is if you can do, you can work up to this, but 20, if you do 20 of those, then see if you can do 10 single leg ones. Remember, try not to roll forwards as you do them or roll backwards. So 10 singles. Let's pretend we did 10 on there, and then we do 10 up here. Really pushing all the way through. You want to try and push all the way up to the very tip and coming back down. And then you finish off on 20 together again. So 20, 10 on each leg, and then 20. This will really burn the calves. You might need to build up to this. Because especially if you're not used to it, it burns. And then you'll get sore calves the next day, so make sure you roll them out or stretch them or something. So some of the stretching you can do is knees over your toes, falling that way. But we'll do that at the end. Lastly, core and control. So this is one of my favourite exercises. It's more difficult than it looks. So, core and control. So, you start hands together, feet together on your side. You're going to roll into Superman, roll side, roll onto your back, roll onto your side, and then back again. Each, you want to be able to hold it for 2 seconds. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you want to be able to hold it for 2 seconds to show that you have been able to isolate that movement, because it's easy to roll through it, but the whole thing is trying to control that movement. You might find that you're better at rolling one way and the other way is actually a bit harder just because of muscle imbalances and things. So it's a really good one to test where you might be a little bit weaker on a certain way. But they're really great. If you can do 2 on each side, so I just did 1 set. If you can do it again, ideally if you could do 3 up and back, so 6 altogether, that would be great. It just really targets core and it just isolates all those different movements. You want to make sure that your feet and your hands stay together the whole time. They don't flare out to the side. Everything is slow and controlled. Okay? Fab. So, they're the key exercises for tumbling. There's a whole lot. It depends what sort of tumbling you're doing. But just in general, overall, there's some really useful exercises that you can do at home that can just help you so your body doesn't go into mega shock when you go back, and you just reduce the chance of injury. With that, you're also meant to make sure that you're stretching as well. Yeah. So I'll just show you some quick stretches to do to recover from some of those things. So with the wrist strengthening, it's just rolling out those wrists like that. And you can do these ones. With the ankle stability, you're going to find that your legs do get quite tired. The best thing I find for cooling down for your muscles in your calves is actually a ball. So the muscles on the side of your leg, your perineal muscles, they're stability muscles as well. And so these ones will often get quite tight, especially if you're doing a lot of ankle stability things. That's like when you go bushwalking and things, quite often you can get quite tight on the sides of your calves. That one's great with a ball. Also a foam roller. And then also, obviously, the soleus and gastrocs, which are the two calf muscles behind your leg. So you're going to push your knee over your toes, this way. That's it. Nice. That's good at stretching them. And then also doing these ones with straight knees. So you'll straighten your leg and try and get a stretch in your calf. So this will stretch another muscle, calf muscle. And then we do the other side. Oh, we'll go up here. That's it. And then stretching out this way. And then core and control, you hopefully won't be too sore from that one. It's more like controlling everything. But if you do feel like your core was getting sore, the classic pushing up, stretching out your tummy muscles. Make sure your shoulders aren't by your ears, you're pushing away from the ground. And if that's too intense, bring your elbows down to the ground like this. And have a bit of a wiggle. Let your joints and your muscles relax a bit. And then you come down to the ground. And then you go again. So there you have it. There are some handy exercises that can help your tumbling. Let me know if you have any questions about that, and there's so many different exercises that we can do to target certain areas, so just let me know, and yeah, I can give you some more focused exercises to do for certain body parts if you wish. Anyway, hope you have a fab evening. I'll see you next time.